And you got a little rectangle peg. Rectangle. I'm inventing shapes and words today, interestingly. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Player Display. And today we're having a really awesome look into Mafex's iteration of IG-11 from The Mandalorian show. This may contain spoilers for Season 3, Episode 1. I'm actually going to see Episode 2 right after this, but there are some little tidbits I am going to be discussing as we go, so just forewarning you as we go in if I break your lore or immersion within the show. But anyways, this is a figure that I really should have gotten a very long time ago, because I watched Mandalorian 3 and it's dropped that he's basically coming back. I mean, he kind of was. He was doing that old T-800 thing, kind of crawling along the floor. And the reason why I never got an IG-11 before is, first of all, the one that Black Series did was total poodoo. It was total reuse of the Black Series IG-88, who we will do a size comparison with later on. And secondly, the only other offerings that we were getting for IG-11 were from SH Figuarts, and then of course Mafex, which we have right here. And during the time of their release, they were a little out of my price point, but time's been a little bit good to me, so I decided, alright, let's go ahead and get one. And the Mafex one, it's cheaper, it comes with more stuff, so obviously for me, this just had to be the one that I had to get. Also, you get little Grogu in the tiny little satchel there. So let's go ahead and, as we do, start off with the box. At the top, not a whole lot to see there. Aside from the window, you get Mafex number 158. I didn't even know these were numbered, so that's pretty cool. Then you have a good look at all his various hands. You have little Grogu there, you got his two weapons, and then you have the droid himself, from assassin to the ultimate babysitter, basically. You get a good shot of the figure over here at the bottom left corner. On the right, you have Star Wars The Mandalorian with Mafex and Medicom Toy. IG-11 action figure. On the side, you get another image of the figure looking absolutely vibrant, as you do on this side over here. This time it's more a top angle. You can sort of make out the articulation capabilities of this figure, which I'm really looking forward to, because he does some pretty crazy stuff in the show. Then on the back, you get even more shots of this figure, your different display options, you get a size comparison with Mafex's version of Mando himself, and then all the various accessories that he comes with. On the bottom, nothing too interesting, except you do have this really pretty shiny holographic sticker to show you this is not a bootleg product, and unfortunately, we don't have any of the fun logo friends that we've got, not even the classic -3
Start audience!
Now, I do not have a lot of Japanese import figures in my Star Wars collection. I think the first one I got was the Rogue One version of Darth Vader, which, after giving it soft goods and everything, it's become one of my favorites that I own. And I do have some SH Figuarts Praetorian Guards, which are pretty affordable. If you just want to get the 3 of them, they're pretty easy to get. So this is going to be an interesting experience for me. I have not opened many of these. Oh, and of course there's the Figuarts Jango Fett that we did an extensive review on in the past. So opening him up, it looks like he's got a nice sort of very collector-friendly opening 2-piece plastic case. I couldn't have said that in a longer way. Looks like that just pops open almost like a lid, and nothing's tied down, as you could probably tell. Actually, you have a little cup that just flew out. So we've got our 2 weapons here. We got Grogu. As you can tell, as I'm pulling everything out, there's nothing tied down. You have many pairs of hands. You have 3 cups. Was that 3 cups? Yeah, you got 3 cups over here. Again, we'll have a closer look at everything later on. Little bottle. His self-destruct component. The figure himself, no effort at all taking him out. And then you have his little serving tray from when he is put into nurse mode by Queel, which looks really cool. I actually feel like you could use this with a shore trooper, so you can have the lunch trooper from season 2 if you really wanted. I might go ahead and do that, because I don't think I'm going to have him holding this. And then on the bottom, it looks like you also have a complimentary Mafex figure stand, and I don't have many Mafex stands, but for the few that I've had, none of them have survived. They usually just break apart, so hopefully this one's a little bit more sturdy. Again, it's been a very long time since I've dealt with a Mafex figure, so this will be interesting to look at. And then over here, we have some paperwork. They want you to download an app and certifying genuine products. So it's nice to get those. The more guarantees I get that this isn't a bootleg that's not going to fall apart in my hands, the better, because I've had my fair share of those. And then you also have some instructions that I will not waste your time with. I will be the one wasting my time with that. So let me go ahead, test this guy out, see what his full functioning capabilities are, and I will get back to you. So my only experience with having an IG unit in action figure form has been the original Kenner version, the Star Wars Black Series archive version of IG-88, and that's pretty much it because I was kind of hoping they would release a cheaper model kit version of him, but honestly, after playing with him, it's kind of like giving vision to a blind man. This guy is astounding. So being that this guy is a lot taller than I anticipated, I'm going to do my best to keep him on camera, but let's go on and go from head to toe. See, I didn't say let's go ahead and start with the head this time. See, I hold my promises. But the head looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, he got a really good wash here, making him look very antique, like he's been through his number of bounties, battles, whatever. And he just looks very worn, as the Star Wars universe does. Absolutely beautiful figure. It's no wonder that people are using this as a template to also make an IG-88. And the eyes are done in a very nice red. You can almost see like this copper bronze wash going all the way around every single piece of the cylinder, and it looks absolutely stunning. Then you have these little rivets going on, or whatever you like to call them, like some sort of grill texture. Just everything here is beautiful. I almost want to go ahead and take a drink from this guy because this head sculpt was of course used as a cantina vending machine sort of deal. Then going down to the torso, you have his two belts which help to differentiate him from his IG-88 counterpart, and then underneath you can see there is the entire IG chassis going on. I'm not a computer guy, but you can see even more details. I can't even explain them all. There's so many things going on. But you have these two cylinder pieces going on right here, kind of a black, almost a bumper for a car, I suppose. On the back you have some cylinders. There's just so many details. I can't even explain what they are. They're so different and special, and that's what Star Wars should be. There should be technology and aliens you don't recognize. It's a galaxy far, far away, so I like that we don't know what's going on with this guy here. Both of the arms are identical. You have the really nice copper color over here, another distinguishing feature of this particular droid, and that translates very well down to the arms. And perhaps easily one of the biggest upgrades from Black Series, of many, many upgrades, is the execution of the elbows. On the Black Series variant, we had these really ugly rubber overcoats, which definitely deteriorated over time, as we all expected they would. But here, instead, you have a pretty good alternative. You have a swivel joint that's inside of that kind of, I guess, accordion kind of sculpt right here, and that is executed very well, and the articulation is absolutely gorgeous. And then the hands, they're quite spindly and weird looking, but as is the IG design. Down to the crotch, it kind of just branches right off to the legs. There's not a whole lot of crotch or pelvis to speak of. Same going on to the back. Down to the legs, you kind of have these cylinder pieces going over the thighs, leaving a little bit of internal stuff exposed, which is very, very cool. Once again, you get more of that accordion joint going on here. This time, the joint is not part of the sculpt or whatever I'm trying to say. It's actually hidden behind, so you can see here when you move the leg back, the sculpt remains unchanged. But as for the elbow, you can see that when we move it, the accordion kind of moves with it in the sculpt, so that's kind of neat to see. Down to the legs, you get some cords that are done in a more tender plastic, but at no point do I ever feel like they're going to break. They're nice and out of the way. It's nice and strong. I don't feel like they're just going to snap or they're not too loose or anything. Just a very good balance. Then going down to the shins and the calves, or lack thereof, I mean, it's quite the spindly design. You get kind of a square cylinder thing going on. This guy's all cylinders, that's what I'm trying to say. And then you get down to the really awesome trapezoid feet that look absolutely beautiful. I just love that even though this is a fictional character and you don't know what everything here is supposed to do, you get a sense that everything here is practical. It has a purpose. This guy isn't meant for looks. He's meant for getting a job done. Okay, let's now have a look at his very vast array of accessories. I'll try keeping this short and concise because there is a lot going on here. So firstly, I think this is probably the best part of the figure that's not the figure itself, and that is Grogu in his little satchel from that iconic Nurse and Protect scene. But looking at the child, he's just having a grand old little time, just enjoying watching all these stormtroopers die in front of him and the sheer velocity of the speeder. But this bag looks absolutely fantastic. This is definitely one of, I think, the key selling points that would make me choose the Mafex over the Figure Arts. The Figure Arts bag, it actually had a nice texture to it, but it definitely felt a little too wide. I feel like it would make the front very heavy. But in this case, you get the child already pre-sculpted in there. He's not removable or anything. And then, of course, you have this nice little holster going around, so you can get him onto IG-11's neck. Now, there are some pretty basic instructions that come with this figure when it comes to exchanging the bandolier for the child, and it looks like you just take it off like a winter sweater. Do you wear sweaters in winter? What do I know? Get the little kiddo over here, and oh, I discovered the wrong way that this actually pegs out, so you don't even need to put it over the head. You can kind of just sling it around, bring that part over the shoulder, and there you go. He looks absolutely fine right there. And setting him up just very quickly. Oh, damn, he's so cute. I love this whole thing. I haven't even opened up the figure stand yet, so this already shows you that even with the child in the way, this figure stands just fine on his own. I think it'll be best to review the rest of these accessories by actively swapping out the many, many hands that he comes with as they correlate to his various accessories. So I just unpacked these hands for the first time right now, and it looks like you have a really nice ball joint here that is interchangeable between up, down, and out articulation that you could swivel as you prefer. You have a little mushroom peg at the end. No issue removing them whatsoever. So the first hands we will look at are these very distinct gripping hands, and as you can see, they have these little pegs on the inside of the palms so you can hold his serving tray. And of course, each pair of hands comes with this little plastic prong so you can keep them separated. I can't really tell you which is the left and which is the right. They might be identical, so I don't think it matters. But yeah, porting them on doesn't seem to be a problem, which is very good. I definitely keep the longer fingers on the bottom. I just think that would be better support for the tray. As for the tray, it looks like you slide it right in between the fingers and onto those two pegs right there. And he looks pretty damn cool. Actually, the tray does make him top heavy, so I think that's going to bring us into the figure stand. Yeah, once you throw the stand on this guy, there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to get him into absolutely any pose that you want. So I just assembled it in the standard configuration, but it comes with a whole ton of other bits, as you can see here, that I don't even know what to do with. I guess if you just want a simple crotch hold, like you would a 1/6 scale figure, you could do that as well. Here's another one, and it looks like it pegs into this one, and I don't know what the difference would be to the one that we already have. I guess this one's less circular. It's kind of almost like a crab claw kind of. So you have a whole bunch of posing options when it comes to the figure stand. And as you can see with the tray here, he has one little bottle. Then he has three similar cups. I think they are the same sculpt, but with different paint jobs. And as you can see, I've added all four, and they all look absolutely fantastic. I like them a lot. Let's have a look at the bottle here, which looks really good. And then we'll also have a look at one of these cups right here. And they both look really good. Kind of that bronze wash. None of the cups are identical. They have varied paint jobs and everything. So I really like that. Nice to differentiate it a little bit. Oh, and on the inside, you can see there's a little bit of a silver inlay. Probably good for drinking a nice beer. IG-11 also comes with two gripping hands, as you can see right here, and I think they're also exactly the same, but basically what you can do is I think you can take the bottle and then push it up there. Oh, wow. As you can see, the hands are very malleable. I don't think it might be better to use one of his default hands over here for the bottle. Yeah, that makes much more sense. He used the default hands that he comes with in the package. They're a little bit tighter, so that's better for the bottle or perhaps the handlebars of the speeder from Black Series. And then he used the wider hand to hold the cup, and then you can get him into his butler mode, I suppose. And to wrap out the hand department, we have these two splayed out, I guess, clawing hands. Are definitely way too wide to hold anything, but I guess they could be relaxed, kind of just clamping idly as he's kind of just chilling out, assessing his setting, who's around him and all that. But then lastly, we have his two trigger hands, which are probably going to be the ones I'll be displaying him with, along with the child at the front. So let's go ahead and port these on. Now, as for putting in the blasters, I haven't tried this yet. So let's get his long rifle over here, which you can see has a very subtle silver wash, as they all should. Sometimes Black Series misses out on that. You can slide it into the hand pretty good, and it's a little bit floppy, but it's kind of a set it and forget it situation. Once you pose it up, put in the blaster, then it looks just fine. As for the E11, which is now actually completely silver and has kind of that gunmetal going on, I really like that contrast, by the way. You put it in exactly the same way, just slide it into the hand, put it in the trigger finger, and that one is also a little bit wobbly, but again, you kind of just get him into whatever pose that you prefer, and he looks pretty damn good. I know he's naked. He doesn't have his straps or the child or anything right now, but just so we can look at articulation a little bit better, best to have that out of the way. Now, the final accessory that he comes with is his not very often seen, but very plot-specific self-destruct module. So let's go ahead and see what it's like to replace this part in the center. I didn't even look at the instructions, so I'm going a little bit rogue here. I guess if you just get your fingernail. Alright, I guess I'll need the instructions then. I have no idea what I'm doing. Well, this will be fun. So as you can see, that's how you remove the bandolier and all that. Folding this out, it looks like cheese. Do they really need to tell us this much? Some of this is kind of a given. I guess just to be sure you get the best out of your figure. On the back, you, wow, there's a lot going on here. Oh, see, there's the rexagonal peg that we looked at before. And more about the child. Get all his hands, you get the T. Yeah, it's all been said and done at this point. Oh, we want to look at that. Yep, here we are. So, you basically... I did that already. Oh, boy. All right, well, broke him in half. Actually, when you think about it, it's kind of a happy accident, because now he can simulate how he looked in the first episode of Season 3. So that's actually kind of cool. So, yeah, you should be able to just bury your finger underneath and remove it. This thing really does not want to budge. Why? Okay, there we go. Peg's out. And the reason why it was a little tricky to take out was physics. You have the peg that's all the way at the top. Probably would have been better at the center. But anyways, we could take that out. Plug in the self-destruct piece, which fits in nice and easy, not too tight. Pop the body back together. And then, yeah, that looks really cool, especially if you get the bandoliers back on. I'm going to go ahead and keep everything removed so we can look at the full extent of his articulation. The head gets a little bit crazy. You have total creative license as to where you want everything to go. So you have a swivel at the very top dome right there, which seems to be in sync with the cylinder at the very bottom. So those are probably one piece, and they have an axle doweling through all the other parts. You have a single piece here that connects all the eyes. Do I have that right? Yes, I believe so. And then you have the cylinder with the holes there. The head swivels, and that's it. Actually, one thing that the Figuarts version does have over this one is the head would have articulated this down here and then back as well. So that's not a huge deal. I mean, you have so many joints going on. He can look down on anybody, no problem. As for the torso, he has, as we saw, that ball joint, so you can do a full 360, as he should do. That's exactly what he does in the show. He can do nothing forward and nothing back, and no tilt whatsoever. The arms, they do a full 360, as pretty much everything on this figure should do. Elbows past 90, as we looked at, have a swivel just over the elbow joint. On the hands, again, we have that rotating joint, so that way he can do his usual up and down, and then you can also rotate it so you can get in and out. So you can do absolutely whatever you want with the hands. There is a swivel in the pelvis right there, just over the legs. As for those legs, they can actually kick a little bit out. You can go back in. They actually have a drop-down feature, which is really nice. If you want them a little bit taller, you get this much kick forward when you're utilizing that drop-down leg. You also have a very good amount back, although it kind of V's out when it hits that little corner right there. As for the knees, they do way past 90. That is awesome. good for kicking action. I'm probably missing a ton of joints as I go, so I apologize for that. But as for the ankles, you get a swivel, and then you even have a little bit of rocker. And then, of course, they have a little bit of up and a little bit of back. Oh, wait a minute, stop the presses. The eyes are not one piece, they're actually separate. I kind of just had to break them loose. So anyways, those move just fine, and they move independently of each other. I knew something was wrong, but anyhow, all that being said, let's go ahead and move on to some size comparisons. We have some offerings from the Black Series on the left, being Fennec Shand and the Book of Boba Fett, or also as he appears in The Mandalorian more accurately. Then on the right, we have the model kit version of Din Djarin, and they scale just fine with each other. So if you want to do some cross-branding, not an issue. I think he sizes up with Black Series and Bandai just fine. Then we also have the IG-88 from Black Series. This is the archive version, now that makes a difference. And yeah, I can't believe I actually thought this was an okay figure for a time. Now it's just a total, utter disappointment. Then down here we have the Black Series Child, who I actually plan on replacing with the model kit variant. So we'll see how that goes in our first model kit review. And then, of course, we have our Black Series Muck Muck. I don't know what else to tell you. This figure just absolutely rules, my dudes. I just vividly remember the very first episode of Mandalorian and then seeing this droid suddenly appear. And even though I had a hunch it wasn't IG-88 because he was already canonically dead, it was so cool seeing this very iconic Star Wars design actually function like clockwork. Even at the end of this review, I still have a hunch that there are so many things I need to learn about him. I'm sure there's some hidden joints I missed. I'm sure there's some other accessory combinations I can be working with. There's just so much potential with this guy. I absolutely adore him. And of course, as I said, he's also a good template if you want to use him to create a proper 88 instead of whatever the hell this is supposed to be. It does take some work to get him into the poses you want, but once you get him there, he stays there and he looks really cool. Even this is pretty minimal effort. Like, you can definitely have him with the elbow going around the back and everything. He pretty much gives you all the movement that you could possibly ask for from an IG. Absolutely spot on. Mafex, well done. High recommend for all you fans out there. So if you enjoyed this review and you're loving The Mandalorian so far, then please, as per usual, be sure to like, comment,
and subscribe.
Or like a whole bunch of monsters are gonna invade your home, Scoop! Zoinks! Blah! I think that's going to wrap this up. I am absolutely blown away at this figure, and I'm totally going to be playing with him more for hours upon hours after the conclusion of this video. So lots of endless fun. Highly recommend him. Really, really cool. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all later. Hello, my friends. Bleh. Wait, what's a friggins? I'll have to look into the Merriam-Webster for that one. I unfortunately do not have the Black Series speeder bike that could go with this figure, but from what I've seen on other reviews, this figure is absolutely compatible with that. I might go ahead and shell out some money for that speeder one day. By the way, here is a look at my full brand new setup with our new desk and our new backdrop. I went a little bit bigger than I probably should have, but god damn it, I love it. And also it's just going to allow the camera to focus a lot better on whatever figures we're looking at. It's also going to be very good for 1/6 scale figures, and we're expecting one very soon, so hold on to your butts for that. Get some additional range when going forward to not totally free of the plumbing epidemic.